And so, there you go. We have all the applicants then for, you have to run
Terry, yeah, I've got, she wants to go ahead and renew hers.
Okay. On the appeal.
His work.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about, Mr. Willett, and what we're gonna do with him. You wanna be part of that conversation?
Are you gonna do that now?
Thank you. Good with that?
Sure.
Or do you have additional information that you wanna bring to this, or? Okay.
I was just working on the minutes.
Okay. So before we go into that, I watched part of your meeting. Somebody at YouTube this, so I watched it. The individual that came, the senator, the state senator.
Senator Mike Johnson.
Yeah, he came in and spoke, and they gave him an enormous amount of time to speak. And just curious how that came about. How did he get on the agenda?
Because he asked me,
He did call and ask to be put on the agenda. Okay, perfect.
he emailed.
Very good. Anything else about that before we talk about Steve?
I had talked to one member of the planning commission, and asked him how it went, and how the talk went, because I planned on coming tonight to listen to that. And I got my 86 granddaughter, so I didn't make it in time, so things happen. But I haven't listened to it online or anything, but I did, he did say that he was a very intelligent gentleman, but most of the questions that he brought up about the energy storage system, all bad, and so on and so forth, and it's like the regulations already is there will be no battery energy storage systems. There will all be inverters and everything like that. So once again, I think that people are jumping the gun rather than, if they have criticisms, they need to look at regulations first before they criticize, because they don't quite understand where we're going. You know, I would take constructive criticism all day long, but when public uproar and the misinformation is out there and it's just rampant, I don't like that. So I'm glad that his question was answered over there, that there will be nothing like that, and size-wise and things like that. So anyway, that's where I'm at on that.
Okay. All right. So I'll open up the discussion on Mr. Willett and whether to remove him from his position.
As I've stated before, and I think he violated public trust by not, he's made claim that he's been on there for 7 years, like that's what it is. And if he is actually wanting to do a public service, if he's been on there for 7 years, then he needs to understand, and he should have known that that was not legal what he did. Yes, according to his little post that he put online about avoiding Robert's rules, I made a legal motion, this, that, and the other thing. Yep, you did. That was perfectly fine. But according to statutes, you didn't have the public notification for people to come in and talk about the solar when it wasn't even on the agenda for that. So he should have known, and if he says he didn't, I'm not buying that. And I think that he violated public trust and violated my trust. I don't trust him as far as I can throw it right now. So, in my opinion, he should be removed from both the Planning Commission and the Board of Appeals.
Got a motion?
I will make a motion.
I have to ask that over again. We're still in discussion, so I want to know where you're at.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I think it's crossed a boundary that should not, it wasn't even presented or on the record for a presentation.
My thoughts is Steve Willett is very thorough, probably one of the more thorough members that we have.
Okay.
And researching the regulations and trying to do what's right by the community. If you guys consider giving him a little leeway on this one before making that decision, I don't think it was probably intentional to do something unlawful. I think that there should have been a statement after the wind moratorium on consideration for solar. I think it should have been a separate thing. But I don't think that it was intentional, like a malicious and
So
intentional
at
thing to do.
any point in the meeting, did you not advise him that?
Or did anybody advise him that this was not correct?
I simply stated that it would probably come back, that this resolution was for the wind moratorium only. That was the only comment made about it.
Like I say, I don't believe that I can trust him on the board. I really don't. After 7 years, he should have known. And if he didn't, as thorough as he is in his research, because yes, he has presented documentation, he has come in and showed this and showed that. But he should have known that there should have been public notice for solar if they were going to put that out there. That's my point right there. And I've heard from more than one person that, what are you guys trying to do? What are you slipping in on this?
So, I'm gonna throw a caveat in here that was brought up to me. It is what he did equally what whoever seconded the motion and the 3 people who voted on it? And do we hold all 3 people accountable, because they all 3, it couldn't have gone anywhere without a second, and it couldn't have gone anywhere without a majority vote.
And I will, go ahead. Just go ahead.
And so it was asked of me, and I have to take a pause at that and think through that, because they should have known that by seconding it, there was not 3 weeks' notice given. So, I
will tell you that the third person that voted for it did so they could get it in front of the county council. Because he said he knew, and he told him during that meeting, you can't do this. Steve went ahead and did it.
I just think that there's a fine line, and there's a lot of pressure on all of those board members, especially with that topic, to do everything exactly perfect all the time. And I think that was a mistake, and I fear that we would be losing somebody that is very attentive and works really hard and wants to do the right thing. I'm just putting.
Yeah, and you don't have to, it's not just, it's okay or removal. You certainly could, determine by motion that he needs to be reprimanded, or, and that could go equally for anybody who.
I agree, I think, and I guess the more I've thought about this, because, I've put a lot of thought into this, that the better thing to do would be to reprimand everyone involved, written reprimand, and move ahead from there. That's me personally. It irritates me. I believe that it was intentional, but I'm not sure it requires removal. And I'll honor whatever you guys decide. If there's a motion to remove, if there's a second, we'll take a vote. It doesn't have to be unanimous. We have a greater responsibility to make sure, even if we think somebody is doing something intentional, I don't want it to look like we're trying to pull somebody off this board to make it look like we're going to stack somebody on this board, if that makes sense. Sure. I would rather err on the side of giving him some grace with a verbal or a written reprimand, because I think that's what we're asked to do. I think sometimes it's a very hard thing for this board to go above and beyond what the general public or anybody else is required. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I think I get it.
It's kind of like when you become a judge. There are certain things that you can and can't do anymore. And there's so
Then I would
I
like
really
Mr.
struggle with it.
I would like Mr. Willett in here and, that we talk to him and explain to him just
I'm
what,
fine with that.
just how thin of a line that he is on. He's on a razor edge as far as I'm concerned. Right
And I agree with you, Mark.
We do.
I'm glad we had several weeks to take a step back and look at this from a different perspective. And let the emotions come down a little bit.
So what's sad too is there's people out there in the general public that are praising him for doing this.
I know.
And saying he did it lawfully, he did this, he did that, and he didn't. That's what's bad.
Yeah.
Is there's people thinking he did perfectly fine whatever he wanted to do, and that's what's wrong.
That's wrong. I mean, I just can't say it plain enough.
And that's why I want him in here sitting here so I can explain it to him, so he can go explain to his friends that think that he did everything correctly.
Yeah, I think that might be, there also could be something to the effect of a statement that he would be
Willing to put out.
basically says,
Yeah. Let's have, do you guys mind if we have that conversation with
No,
him?
that's fine, let's bring him in, I'm more than happy to have that
A
conversation.
letter of admonishment.
well, and I think the recognition of it, I think when he was here, I think he tried to justify his actions.
Correct.
That's right.
In some correct way, and I think that's probably the thing that we've got to get past, is the fact that, we got to get to the core of the real problem, which is the fact that it wasn't noticed properly in the public, and this is
That's
public responsibility. The whether or not it's a good idea or a bad idea or indifferent, we've got a process, and that needs to be.
So would you mind making arrangements with Steve to have him here? And if he's around today and wants to come in yet this afternoon,
Yeah, I'm just assuming if he can give her
if he's available to stop in,
that way all of us can talk to him.
I'd be glad to put this to bed. I think he would too. So I think that would be.
But don't you also think that all members of both boards should understand that moving forward, that when you have to stick to the agenda, you cannot, someone wants to bring in a nuclear power plant. You know what I'm saying? I'm being extreme.
Yeah.
But all members should realize that what's on the agenda needs to be, as well as the
Well,
chair.
this would probably be kind of my first thought on this would be, you need to have a discussion with him directly. Whatever, the reprimand portion of it.
Yeah.
There needs to be an acceptance of him that he accepts the reasoning of what was wrong with it. And then I think it is a moment where maybe I put together something that says,
Yeah.
thank you, Commissioner General, understand what happened, why it was wrong,
Yeah.
and what we need to attend.
I like that.
Yep. That's what I was suggesting.
Something that they can sign as well.
Yes, showing
Oh,
that
good
they
idea. Good
acknowledge
idea. Yeah. Acknowledge and accept. Okay.
And maybe I know it might be best just to get them to structure all that, so have them in here.
Before we have him in here?
Yeah, just
Okay.
because
Okay.
I think there's all the steps that kind of have to fall in place before I do what I do.
Sure.
I don't mind him coming in yet this afternoon, and then we'll put together the document that goes to the board. I think having a conversation with him, I think both for us and for him, he would like to know where he stands on his board position. And so, again, if he's available,
Yep.
and we'll tell him that there'll be a document following this that addresses this confusion.